Franchise Sports Media!
What's going on, fight fans? This is another episode of the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. I'm your host, Kalni. Sitting in solo today. Tawan Brother is out right now, but we will keep the train moving. You know he's going to bring the goods when he comes back in here. So, man, oh man, do we got a fun-filled weekend ahead of us going down. Yes, sir. Fight, fight, fight. It is going down. We're going to be in Miami or Miami. Or we're also going to be in New Mexico. It's going to be the Octagon, and it's going to be the Square Circle. Ooh, we got some good stuff coming up. Couple of weeks, we got WrestleMania in the backyard. We're doing a special WrestleMania show. Be on the lookout for that. But we got to get to the events going on this weekend. As I said, we do have UFC 314 going down in Miami, Florida. It will be headlined by Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopes for the vacant UFC featherweight championship. For Volkanovski, 26-4. This is his 10th consecutive title fight that he will be in. Remember, he had 2 fights at 155 where he was trying to become champ. But at 145, he is proven to be one of, if not the greatest 145er of all time, despite his recent loss to Ilia Topuria. It happens, man, it happens. But Alexander Volkanovski, the great Ozzy is going at it once again to try to reclaim his throne, recapture his title, and once again be the king of the mountain at 145. But he's taking on a man who's been on a mission since coming into the UFC, riding high. The hype train is there, and it is valid by his actions in the cage. Diego Lopes, 26-6. It is going to be a barn burner between these two going at it for the UFC vacant championship. Diego Lopes, he's got 15 first-round finishes, 10 knockouts, 12 submissions. I mean, this is a guy who is saying, hey, you want to stand up? I'm your Huckleberry. You want to go to the ground? Bring it on, champ. It is, and I don't get paid by the hour. I get paid for the attempt. So no need for us to go the distance if we don't have to. Diego Lopes has shown time and time again, he's one of the more well-versed, well-rounded fighters. Not complete. You know, there's some areas where you can say, okay, because of his early finishes, he can go the distance, but he does need to work on his cardio a bit more. His stand-up is good. He's clearly got the knockout power, but he's not untouchable. It's not like he's Floyd Mayweather or Pernell Whitaker or anything of that matter where he doesn't get hit. Unfortunately, he just has the chin, the stamina, the heart, but also the power within his own hands that, hey, if you're going to touch me, once I touch you, you're going to be backing up where you don't want to stay in this phone booth with me anymore. Volkanovski, we have seen evolve his game more and more and more. One thing I think that will benefit him in this particular matchup, especially with the way Diego Lopes stands, more of a boxing stance, so to speak, is Volkanovski has to throw his leg kicks, his patented trademark leg kicks. He's gotten a bit comfortable throwing his hands, trying to be like an MMA boxer, so to speak. Granted, you're taking on Ilia Topuria, you're taking on Islam Makhachev, you're taking on Max Holloway. Stand-up guys, obviously Islam at 155, more of a grappler, but still, you've gotten so used to that he's not throwing his kicks as much, which was a big factor in why he beat Max the first 2 times. Leg kicks, slowing him down, now allowing that mobility to be a factor for Holloway. If he could do that for Lopes, now you're taking away Lopes being able to move around, circle the cage, but also you're stopping Lopes potentially from shooting in for takedowns. Remember, he's got 12 submissions, so going to the mat for Lopes would be a key factor in saying, hey, let me see if I can get the little Aussie down on the ground. Volkanovski has shown whenever he has been in fights that they go to the mat, it's not uncharted territory for him. It's not a fish out of water situation for him. He would much rather stand up and bang with you, sure. But if it goes to the mat, he can hold his own. I don't know if you want to test that theory against Lopes, given how dangerous he is on the mat. So for Volkanovski, it's going to be of the utmost important that he utilizes leg kicks, side-to-side movement, and with his power, look, he's going to have to find ways to tag him in and out. Like a bolt of lightning. Jump in, tag him, bounce out. Jump in, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. 1, 2, 1, 2. Go to the body, rock him upstairs, but back up. Because with Lopes being a bigger fighter, obviously having a bigger reach, and his knockout power, you don't want to get caught too much in a wild haymaker storm, and then he lands something. So bouncing in and out for Volkanovski, leg kicks, and I would even say from time to time, possibly initiate your own takedowns, but you're not doing these takedowns to put him down, just to give him something to think about. We've seen fights before where a fighter goes in, gets a takedown, but mostly wants to get back up. It's just something to put in your mind and say, hey, I can take you down. Lopes, because he is so good on the ground, would welcome going to the mat. So now you're putting in his mind that if he takes him down, Lopes might even say, yeah, let's go to the mat. But then you're getting right back up, and he's like, well, wait a minute, I thought we was going to be down here for a little bit having fun. No. Stand back up. I'm just giving you something to think about. So you think I'm going in, come over the top with a nice overhand, wham, bam, thank you, man. That's all she wrote. For Diego Lopes, I would definitely say keep Volkanovski backpedaling. We saw against Islam Makhachev, and we even saw against Ilia Topuria. If I could get him backing up, fighting in a counter motion, and not allowing Volkanovski to dictate the pace of this fight. Volk is a veteran of championship fights, so this is nothing new to him. But now Lopes getting his first crack at the title. The stage a little bit bigger, lights a little bit brighter, crowds a little bit louder. Your nerves and all, we've seen it time and time again. No matter how good you are, sometimes making your debut or being in your first title fight, you might struggle a little bit. You might be a little tensed up. You don't want to make any mistakes because it's right there. You want to hold it so bad. It's like holding something in your hand. You squeeze it too much, it's going to start pouring out the sides and through your fingers. He has to calm down, take his deep breaths, and Lopes has to say, I can't allow the former champion to dictate how this fight goes. I have to, as Randy Couture would say, initiate my will early and often on him so that he is the one thinking about what I'm going to do. He's the one backpedaling. He's the one trying to figure out how I'm going to approach him. This, to me, is an ultimate fight of two fantastic fighters worthy of being in that cage and going at it. It's going to be a lot of fun checking out these two squaring off against each other. Again, Volkanovski, 26 wins, 13 KOs, 3 subs, only 36 years old, still has some thread left on the tires. And then obviously with Lopes, like I said, with he's 30 years old, a little bit younger obviously, but the 10 knockouts, 12 submissions. It's one of those where you say, okay, all right, it's going to be fun to see where they decide to go for. Maybe at times they just decide to bang with one another and let's just say who's the quickest one to draw. It should be fun, and unless there's any controversy, we will be seeing a new king at 145. Will it be return of the champion, or will it be time for a new era? Time will tell. In the co-main event of this particular fight, we have a lightweight showdown at 155 between Michael Chandler taking on Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Oh, this is going to be good. Oh, Paddy, Michael Chandler. It is going to be fun. USA versus the UK. These guys are looking to go out there and put on a show. Michael Chandler, 23-9, came to the UFC from a long trip in Bellator, and he has put on nothing but banger after banger after banger. He has shown win, lose, or draw, you have to watch my fights. You're going to enjoy watching my fights. He comes to fight every single time. His power, his strength, his wrestling, his aggressive nature, just the fact of, hey, I'm willing to take 3 punches just to throw one at you. So Chandler is somebody, no matter who he faces, you want to see him fight. He was supposed to fight a certain Irish fella who apparently can't get his life together, but hey, he waited 7 years to fight him. Now it's time for him to get back in the cage and finally get his career going, because time goes on. Paddy the Baddy, obviously he has all the hype, the personality, very good talker on the mic, expresses himself, good messages, but he also, is a little flamboyant. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. For Paddy, this is his biggest fight, biggest opponent, biggest name that he's standing across from. This is going to be interesting to see how he responds to it, because once again, just like with Lopes in his first fight, what happens when you step up in competition? What happens when you step up in name value against somebody? You're now the co-main event. You're now he's faced Tony Ferguson, and this is no disrespect to El Kukui, but Ferguson is on the downside of his career, on the back end of it, so maybe not the threat that he once was. When you look at Chandler, even when he loses, he still dishes out a lot of punishment to his opponents. So for Paddy, he has to be wary of the fact, I can't get overconfident. I can't think of myself to be so head and shoulders above my opponent that I get caught. We know Chandler has knockout power. We know that he's going to try to dart in with his quick strikes. We know that if he can, I'm going to pick you up, I'm going to slam you. And I might throw a front kick to knock you out if you want to circle away from me, a la Tony Ferguson. Or I might just wham, bam, 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 throw these bombs at you and see if we could go ahead and bombs away down in South Beach. Pimblett, I'm curious to see what he would decide to do. I think he might take a technical standpoint from this, just to see if he can start outpointing Chandler and make the American frustrated, allowing him to open himself up more, and that's when we might see Paddy unload some vicious strikes himself. So I think he might play more of the technical aspect. Let me tap, 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 move around, feint, jab, go to the body, little leg kick, throw things out there early on, unless he sees an immediate opening. I think Paddy's going to try to throw things out there early on to see how does Chandler react, get him to bite on something, and then counter with him later on in the fight. For Chandler, we know how he's going to come out, right? But since it has been a while since he's been in the cage and an active fighter, ring rust possibly? Is it, hey, I still got some thread left on my tires, but I am just taking on a younger lion here who's just, it's his time to go ahead and roar and continue on his path of trying to become the king of the jungle. I don't know, but either way, these two fighters, their personalities, their fight styles, and what the implications mean, the winner of this, sure enough, does have a pass. For Chandler, hey, maybe I deserve a title shot now. Now that I've been waiting all that time for Conor McGregor, I played a good employee role. Now I've been out here and put on a great show, beat the young upstart UK fighter. I deserve a shot at Islam Makhachev. For Paddy, hey, I done beat two legends now in Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler. Again, this is if he wins. So now it's time for me to be in that class with the Charles Oliveira's, the Artem Sumisi, the Dustin Poiriers, the Justin Gaethjes. It's time for me to be in that class with those guys and say, hey, give me one of those guys so I can beat them and then put my name in the basket to get a shot at Islam Makhachev. So a lot of implications for Paddy and Chandler going at it. It'll be a lot of fun. Fireworks indeed. Hey, UK, America, we've seen this play out before. Let's see how it goes in the cage on Saturday. We also got a debut coming on. Yair Rodriguez will be welcoming to the octagon for his first UFC appearance. Patricio Pitbull, the former double champ from Bellator, has finally, wink, wink, little foreshadowing there for next, you get it. But Patricio Pitbull finally coming to the UFC, wants to make his mark. He is going to be in the featherweight division saying, hey, I've done everything I can outside this division. There's a certain fighter in the co-main event that's going to be taking on a British star. Me and him got some history with each other. Maybe we meet up sometime down the road. But for now, let me take on young Yair Rodriguez. It is going to be a lot of fun. Patricio Pitbull, 36-7. Again, two division champion, been in wars with Michael Chandler, has shown grit, determination. Look, he's not perfect at whatsoever, but he's near one of the best fighters outside of the UFC that is finally going to make his debut. Now, we've seen this before with guys who came over from Pride, from Strikeforce, and Bellator as well. Your first time in there, like I said with Diego Lopes and even Paddy, your debut in the UFC. You come out, that crowd is going to look far different. You don't got the stage ramp like you do in Bellator, so you're not above everybody. You're right there eye level with the fans. The arena's packed and it's filled. The lights are bright all over. That's your picture right there. That's my name all right there. Now on the giant screen behind me, I'm stepping across from one of the most athletically gifted and most creative strikers in all of the UFC in Yair Rodriguez, a man who clearly will put me on his highlight reel if I'm not careful. And I'm coming in here with the hype and anticipation and the name value and resume that says I should be one of the better fighters within this division. Can I go out here and prove it? So it'll be very, very fun and very intriguing to see how does Pitbull respond to his first fight in the UFC. For Yair Rodriguez, this will be a tremendous cap in the feather if he can go out there and get a victory, especially if he can do it in a highlight reel fashion. We know with his Taekwondo background, he loves throwing creative kicks. He loves coming with strikes, ask Korean Zombie. Hey, you want to do 10 toes down? Wham! Knock you out as the bell goes out. So for Yair, he's another one. If healthy, he is a fighter you love to watch fight because he can put so much out there and you never know what he's going to be able to do. One fight I wish we could have seen during their time, and it's just one of those, hey, the timing didn't work out. Yair Rodriguez versus Anthony Showtime Pettis, maron. That would have been something amazing to watch with those two going at it, but it is what it is in that particular case. But Pitbull finally coming to the UFC, a lot of excitement here. He gets a chance to show us why you were such a big name that we knew of fighters who never made it to UFC. Well, now that you have, show us what you got, baby. Speaking of, show us what you got. Oh, boy. Bryce Mitchell will be fighting on this card. controversy out there says has said some very ignorant things. Not going to repeat them or allude to them, but he has said some controversial statements recently that's almost like, really? Seriously, dude? Never underestimate the predictability of stupidity. But nonetheless, Bryce Mitchell, in his time in the cage, has shown he is a tremendous fighter, and he can go out there and put some guys to sleep or make them tap out. He's a very good fighter. May not have it all upstairs, but that's why he fights. But he will be taking on Jean Sylvia, who is 15-2, one of the most exciting fighters out there as well. This is another featherweight bout. Sylvia saying, hey, I want to be the one to humble this dude, bring him back into the light, or into the light. I don't know if he's ever been to the light before, but Sylvia, one of the fighting nerds, so to speak, in the UFC with that group of fighters that down there training together. He's looking to go out there and right the wrongs of this man's ignorance and his comment and say, hey, as I continue my ascension, let this guy be an example of, yes, you do have freedom of speech in this country. Dana White makes sure to announce that every single time some controversy comes up. But you do. But that also means you don't get a right is you don't get a passage from the consequences of your words. So you can say what you want, but you gotta be willing to deal with the consequences. Consequences, yes, sir. So this will be interesting to see how this particularly goes for Silva. Is he overly invested in trying to make a statement that maybe he freezes in the moment, is a little too hesitant because he doesn't want to get countered and caught? For Mitchell, can he go out there, put on a good show? You know, afterwards, he's probably going to say something on the mic where you're just like, dude, just shut up and stop putting your own foot in your mouth. But at the same time, maybe you like the taste. I don't know. But we got Dominic Reyes on the card as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. We got Dominic Reyes on the card trying to get himself back into the title picture. So, you know, UFC 314 in Florida is going to be a lot of fun. Now, it's in Florida. It's in South Beach. We know who might make an appearance. I'll just leave it at that. We know who might make an appearance. So it is what it is in that particular case, how it goes. But that is the UFC. A lot of great things. We're obviously trying to figure out what's going to happen for International Fight Week. John Jones, Tom Aspinall, Islam Makhachev, who's he's supposed to be facing on. Again, Conor McGregor. We were hoping you were going to come back. Now you're going through all this other nonsense. Whatever, dude. Hey, is Nate Diaz coming back to the UFC? Nick Diaz, we see you starting to do well. Hey, man, please continue on your path and your journey of getting right and bringing yourself to be healthy once again. It's a lot of things going on out there, a lot of things being stirred up and mixed around right now. More news to come as it goes forward. It should be a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, as I said, the Fight Field weekend, that's in South Beach. If you come back to the West Coast, New Mexico, we will be seeing a boxing match. Now, it's supposed to be, now it's supposed to be ICS Mania 1. And it's a mix of boxers, influencers, celebrities, MMA guys, all of them coming together, getting inside the boxing ring, duking it out. It was supposed to be headlined by Quentin Rampage Jackson, former UFC light heavyweight champion, taking on former UFC light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans. The rivalry that they had in the UFC helped Tough Enough Season 10 become one of the highest rated seasons of all time. Then their particular fight itself became one of the highest grossing pay-per-views of all time. The fight itself may not turn out to be much, but it is what it is. You get paid for the attempt. They were supposed to fight. Contractual issues came up, and they just mutually agreed to postpone it to a later date. It is what it is. It does take some major sauce off of this tremendous card, but we got some fantastic names on here. I mean, you got son of one of the greats in the cage, Fernando Vargas Jr., that is, 16-0. He's going to be stepping into the cage as well. We got Shane Mosley Jr., 22-4. Sugar Shane looking to come out there. He talked to Tawan Butler before on his, so be sure to go to Tawan Butler's page. Check out that interview that they did. That was fantastic. But he's going to be stepping in there. I went to the press conference they had out here. What's funny is Mosley's opponent wasn't there. So, you know, after you do your press conference, you do your face off and this and that. Well, his opponent was there, so Mosley just stood there without nobody being there and was flinching at it, talking mad mess. You know, just put on a show for the crowd and everything like that. That was there for to see him. But you got you got those going at it. You got DJ Swearinger, former NFL safety. Yes, he's going to be making his boxing debut, or pro boxing debut. He's going to be stepping in the ring, taking on social media influencer Thame Wadams, W-A-D-A-M-S. He's 3-0. These two were jawing at each other at the press conference majorly. It was entertaining. We will see what does it lead to as far as the cage fight goes itself. I mean, as far as the ring fight goes itself. I'll say this. because obviously the Paul brothers have been the staple of influencers slash celebrity boxers having these matches. We've seen celebrity boxing before. Mostly it's for charity. Mostly it was kind of fun, celebrity versus celebrity, but it is what it is. I gotta say, for all the nonsense, for all the antics, for all the silliness, anyone who's willing to get in there and put on a real fight. I'm not talking about one of those where it just looks completely shut up and fake like a certain Netflix fight, but it is what it is. You gotta give them credit, because all of us can sit here and talk all this smack. I can sit here and talk all this smack, be it super negative as I want, but guess what? My big behind ain't getting up in there. I climb up them stairs, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing, let alone duck, get underneath the ring. I'm gonna need some Cheez-Its and a Diet Coke after that just to get right from walking down there. So for everyone who wants to be negative about these guys going in there, making a joke of the sport, guess what? They're actually stepping in there. Any one of us could do it, but we're not doing it. So I'm curious to see how this goes out. You never know. It's another avenue to get there as opposed to going through the amateur ranks and whatnot. Now, granted, you may not be a well-oiled machine like these real professional boxers, but at the same time, you're not trying to be on that particular level, unlike Jay Paul. You're trying to go out there and just, hey, let me try to see what I can do against guys equal to my skill set and try to make some money out of here. I think I like it. I'm all for it. If it's the right matchup, I'm for it. Otherwise, I suppose, but I'm for it. I'm for it overall. We also got two former UFC fighters, John Madesi taking on Diego Sanchez. That'll be an interesting fight in itself with those two guys. When they were in the cage as MMA fighters, they were fun and entertaining to watch. Now they're going to be in a boxing ring for Diego Sanchez, the ultimate warrior, the ultimate heart of a lion. That guy, hey, I just want to fight. That he literally is the definition of let me bang, bro. John Madesi, a little bit more technical. Has some zip in his power, so it's gonna be interesting to see how these two MMA guys translate to boxing now that there's no takedowns, no kicks, none of that. How does it roll over into that for the first ones? It'll be fun to watch. So be sure to check that out as well. Both going on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then again, we got WrestleMania coming up this month. We got International Fight Weeks on the horizon with plenty of matchups to go for that. We got some good boxing coming up later on this year. We got tremendous UFC fights coming up as well. And it's all going to be talked about right here on the main event by us right here at Franchise Sports Media. So be sure to tune in. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. That's about all. I'm going to wrap it up now. That's what's coming up. Look forward to it. And then I'll be back next week with a recap. So be sure to tune into the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, fight fans. Peace.